I am really excited to play today. I have a fun thing that I was just experimenting with last night, and I think you'll be excited about it too. Some of you may have already played with this product, but it's fairly new. We are going to play with the Brutus Monroe fiber paper. And this is, it's different than I expected. I was excited to try it out anyway. I'm always excited to try anything new that Brutus Monroe comes out with, but this I was like intrigued by because I couldn't quite imagine it. And I imagined it being more like mulberry paper, that really thin fibrous paper, but it's kind of like a dryer sheet a little bit, like a thick but stiff one. It has more body to it. It's awesome. I'm really excited to play with you. So we're just going to jump in. I'm going to go ahead and switch camera views, but I do want to say hello. I see Jen. Hello, Marianne. Hello, Jackie. And I'm going to switch camera views, so until Darren gets on, who I have forgotten to thank the last couple of times. Thank you, Darren, for moderating. He's such a good sport about it. He is just, couldn't do it without him. So I'm going to, hi Monique, I'm going to go ahead and switch camera views so we can jump in and start playing. So I don't have a very fancy setup, so we just do what works. I don't have a coloring camera or anything yet, but you know, we work in baby steps. Okay, so the way that I didn't mean to spoil anything, but you may have seen a little preview just now. Okay, let me just move things around a little bit so that I can get to what I need to. So the way that these come, they come with 5 in a package. They're 5x6 sheets, and I'm just going to cut the top off for this.
We're going to try to find it.
Oh, are you on now?
Not yet.
Okay. So you can see it's a little bigger than a standard, you know, card panel, because like I said, it's 5x6. And I've got all of them all cut up, but I've got a couple in here. And so one thing I noticed when I went to cut it, you have to make sure that you're holding it nice and firm, because, you know, when you go to cut it, it can move and it's a little bit trickier to get a straight cut. So rather than, you know, I'm a little bit of a control freak about a few things. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to make sure that my cuts are even. And I used my foundation rectangles. These were perfect for that. So I just used my little panels there so that I could get straight cuts for sure. And so this one we'll start off with. This is going to be my main card panel. And I have to tell you that I told Michael I really love this set. This set is called Rainy Day, and it came out probably last spring. It was in a scrapbook kit, and I thought it was so cute, and I just wanted to play with it. And I was waiting to kind of see some samples, and I hadn't seen a lot of samples, so I asked him if I could make some samples with this, and it is really fun. I'm excited. There's still a lot of things I want to try with it, but for what we're doing today, it was perfect. So I'm going to use this little cloud, and I'm going to use my fiber paper. I've got my Misty here for this next little bit. Just trying to keep track of where I'm putting everything. And so the first thing I decided to try is I thought, I wonder if you can emboss on this. So I'm just using my little embossing. I've just got this little embossing thing. I still need to buy the Brutus Monroe one. I don't have it yet, but I have heard great things, so I'm going to have to do that. So I'm just going to go across and chalk it up a bit. Now the thing about this is we're going to, it's because we're doing a rainy kind of panel, it's not going to be the end of the world if it's not, if I've got a couple of little strays as far as the embossing powder goes. But of course we don't, you know, we don't want to mess up our design any more than we need to either. So I thought this worked out pretty good.
Jen says it's a cute set.
Isn't it a cute one? I think it kind of gets forgotten about sometimes. Sometimes we get so excited about our inspiration box and the brand new releases that we forget how cute the ones that we've missed out on are. So this is one of those. This is one that I definitely did not want to miss out on.
Penny and Robin say that the fiber paper looks like interfacing when you sew.
And that would be why I wouldn't know, because I don't sew. But yes, that does make sense. I know what interfacing is. My mom was like an amazing seamstress for us. Like, she made our clothes and stuff, but she did not pass that talent down to me. Okay, so we are going to use, sorry, I'm kind of going along. I'm going to calm down a little because I'm a little bit hyper. We're going to use the clear embossing ink. And by the way, as I'm doing this, I also want to remind you that there is a promotion that just started. It's bingo, and it's going to be for this whole month that you can earn a card by spending, like every $10 you spend, you earn a card. But there's also one you can download for free on the site. And then keep track of the lives and the different things that come out that you can catch the numbers from. And then on...
Hello?
Who did?
Sue.
Hi, Sue.
And
Welcome.
Love that ink.
This is amazing ink, by the way. Okay, so now I'm kind of going to, just for my own self, kind of to know where I had put that cloud, because I don't see it really well with this, right? I'm just going to use these two magnets to kind of line up where I want to put the next one. And it's okay if they overlap a little bit, but I don't want them to overlap a lot. So we'll put that right there. Anyway, so during this live, I will give you a couple of numbers, and I'm really excited I get to be one of the first ones to do it. So stay tuned. Okay, so you want to make sure you get it nice and juicy. And we are going to ink this with this clear, and then we're going to emboss it in white because we're doing a resist. Okay, and I might even do it one more time just because I want it nice and juicy, like I said. Okay, so now we're going to move our magnets again on the Misty. If you have a different stamp platform, it definitely is helpful for this technique to have one. And we'll move our little stamp over. And if you really can't see it, if it gets really bad, you can always just emboss what you've got and then go from there. But it's a lot easier if you get it all done in one fell swoop. So I'll move this down to here. Maybe I'll move this guy up there. I don't think that'll interfere with anything. Okay, so ink this guy up. So everybody have their Mother's Day plans underway and their Mother's Day gifts bought.
Penny said free card is not yet live, but there will be a link once the slider is put up on the website.
Penny, thank you so much. I really appreciate you passing that information along. That is awesome. Let me repeat what Penny said in case you couldn't hear Darren. Tell me again. The downloadable card is not live yet, but what was the next part?
It will be once the slider is put up on the website.
It will be once the slider is put up on the website. Okay. So now, I actually think I want to move this up a little bit because I want to get a little bit more of our stamp. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and put our last. I can't remember which way I had it. I don't think it matters. We'll do it like this. Okay, so just get it, like I said, nice and juicy. If you're not sure, I would honestly, before you do it, it wouldn't be a bad idea to take the opportunity to ink up your embossing pad if it's been a little while. They stay really juicy for a long time. They're really, this is the most amazing embossing pad I've ever used.
Sue said she likes resist techniques.
Sue, I like that too. I think they're fun. It's always fun to see how everything peeks through on these resist techniques. Okay, so now we're ready for the next step. So we'll take this off. Kind of move that out of our way. And now I'm going to take, I have a little tray somewhere. I've got my embossing powder. I just have to figure out where I put my tray. Okay, well, good news is I have two. Because my other one seems to have vanished.
The tray.
What? What?
Just try to find the tray.
I don't. It's good. I just need to wipe this one out. I just want to make sure I don't have... Oh, I found it. There we go. I knew I had it. I cleared off my table and I cleared it off with it.
Gina
So,
says hi. Sorry she's late.
hi Gina. Thanks for joining. Okay, so this is kind of a fun thing. I love that you can buy embossing powder from Brutus Monroe in a 6-ounce jar. So most of the time I've purchased it, I've gotten it in the 1-ounce jar. But if you use a color a lot, like the Alabaster is one that I use all the time, it's nice that you can get it in the big industrial family size. Okay, for the serious crafter, right?
Sue said, got here late. What type of paper are you using?
This is fiber paper, Sue. It's really cool. This is a new paper that Brutus Monroe started
I'll
carrying.
put the link up again.
Darren's putting the link up right now. And as was said, it's kind of like, it feels kind of like interfacing. So you can flick at this a little bit and get it off the areas you don't want it. And it sticks pretty good still to where you do want it. And I like that you can just kind of brush it off too. And we'll just kind of go in there. Use our fingernail to kind of get up close.
Never heard of fiber paper.
You know what? I had never used fiber paper before now either. It's really fun though. That's what made me want to play with it.
Anita said, I just found mine, so perfect timing for the video.
Oh, awesome. I'm so glad. Okay, so we've got our clouds kind of in our, where we want them. I'm just going to, I know I will dump this powder all over the place if I don't kind of get it corralled right now. So bear with me for 2 seconds while I put that away. I also know there's a few people watching who it makes them nervous too. So I'll even put the lid on just for those particular people. Not pointing any fingers, and there's certainly nothing wrong with it. Okay, so now I'm going to take my heat tool. I love this. This is the Ranger Heat It craft tool, and it works amazing for this. So I kind of like using mine against my glass mat, but it does get really, really hot. So keep that in mind so that you don't burn yourself. And it does take a while to cool down, but I kind of use it to my advantage. I use it to my advantage because I kind of like that it heats from the bottom as well and kind of speeds up my embossing process. Oh, we're starting to get some shininess. And I probably could have flicked a little bit more of the powder off. There's a few little areas, but like I said, because they're clouds and it's rain and storm, for what we're doing today, it doesn't need to be super precise. I mean, you want it to look like clouds. You want it to, you know, the basic shape to be there, but it doesn't have to be ultra perfect. Which is good because pretty much nothing I make is ultra perfect. So this bingo game is going to be so much fun. I'm really excited about it. I think maybe while we're just sitting here waiting for this to heat up anyway, maybe I should call a number. What do you think, Darren?
Yep.
Okay, so write this down even if you don't have your bingo card yet, because I'm sure you're going to want one. And to get more details about it, you'll want to go onto the site. But like I said, the downloadable card is not live yet. But to get more cards, I believe I already went over this, but I'm going to tell you again in case you've tuned in a little later. With every $10 that you spend, you receive a new bingo card. And so the number I am going to tell you right now is B10. B as in boy, 10. So, make sure you have that marked for your bingo cards. I think this is just about done. I just want to make sure, because pretty much the rest of our project is going to depend on it. So I want to make sure I've got everything heated.
And Jen said that Christopher always thinks the most fun promotions.
Christopher does always think of the most fun promotions. There's always something fun going on at Brutus Monroe. I love it. So I flicked it enough that I kind of am just making sure that I'm heating everything. Having that little extra texture on the fiber does make it a little bit more like you need to make sure that it's heated through and not, I mean, because you do have a little bit more of a texture to your pattern. I feel like I might have flicked a little more off than I wanted to. So it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. It's always interesting to see how live projects turn out, because you just can't control it as much as you like to. Okay, so another product that's fairly new still. I don't know how many of you have tried out the Chroma mists, but these are such beautiful, vibrant, fun colors to play with. I am having a heyday with these. And if I'm not mistaken, I think these might be on sale right now. So check that out to be sure. The bundle is on sale. This is not included in the bundle. This is a shimmer mist, but it is a lot of fun. It's really pretty. Let me see if I have a panel that I made that I haven't made into anything yet. I was just goofing off. But you can see I was playing with all the colors, and then you can see the shimmer mist on the top, how that adds such a really cool shine to your project. So definitely check out the Chroma mist. I'm going to get my ugly bucket. That's what I affectionately call my little spray bucket. And you're going to want to have a spray bottle, just a little bottle of water. And for this, we're just going to use, this is the cobalt blue. And I will show you how much fun this is. So I'm going to get a little bit further away, like maybe 10 inches or so.
Jen said that card panel is beautiful.
Isn't that fun? Wait till you see what this does. This is just a fun, just awesome, easy way to play with this. So now we're going to make it rain on our card panel. And we're just going to kind of let the color run. I probably should have cleaned it out first so that we don't get the color from behind. Maybe I'll put a little bit of paper towel behind there. I'm not going to stress too much. But, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to move you guys over. Hang on a sec. I need one more hand.
Sue said, are you calling this paper fiber paper? Back in the day, it used to be called mulberry paper.
I thought it was going to be like mulberry paper too, Sue, but it's not. It is much thicker than the mulberry paper I ever used. It's got more substance to it. It's almost, it's like, was it Penny that was saying it's more like a interfacing.
For when you sew.
For like when you're sewing and you're kind of making your collars stiff and stuff like that. Okay, so we can just kind of, one thing I noticed when I was playing last night is you can leave it like that, and I think that's beautiful just like that. It looks like a stormy sky, but you can do as much or as little as you want with this.
Anita said I need that bucket.
This is just like from like a Dollar Tree type or dollar store type of place, and I just love to have something that's just easy, and I don't care if it dies. You know what I mean? Because it's going to get really to the point where there's no coming back. So now that I'm blotting it, I can kind of dry it a little bit through doing that. I can make it a little softer if I want to. It just depends on kind of what effect you want. But the fun thing, I was having so much fun last night. I kind of did it, and then I blot a little bit more because I like having several different colors in there. And now I'll just squirt it again. Now, one thing I will say is you do lose a lot of color. You don't want to waste your product any more than you have to. So you really could put another piece behind it and get a couple of effects going on a couple of sheets. We'll just kind of let that run down. I think I'm going to just kind of prop that up and let the color run down a little bit. And you know, it's probably going to look a little bit different every time, which I love about it. And I actually took mine and used my heat tool and dried it up a little bit last night. It doesn't take that long to dry. I mean, it takes longer than I want to take right now during the live, but really it doesn't take that long. So I'm going to dry it just a little bit so that maybe it'll dry by the time I finish the rest of what else we're doing. But I do have one that's already dried. And this card, actually, I should tell you, I'm making a card for our friend Donna Ferrello. She has not been doing very well the last few days, so I'm thinking about her, wishing her to feel better. So I thought I would make her a get well card. So we'll just let that dry. I'll move that out of the way so you don't have to look at the ugly bucket anymore. So here's one I did last night. It's pretty similar, but I think I went a little heavier on the color there. And this one's dry. This one will probably get a little lighter as it dries. And so we're going to use this one because it's all dry and I can put it on a card without worrying about it not sticking. And I just cut a little mat. I used the rectangle dies for that as well. And this is blue ribbon cardstock. And I'm just going to use some of our Easy Tear tape.
So you said it looks like the fiber paper can stand to a lot of water.
It can stand up to a lot of water. You could use this with so many things, and I feel like I've just barely, this is the tip of the iceberg. I'm really excited to play with it some more. We're going to make a couple more backgrounds. I probably won't finish out all the cards, but I figure we can play with some more backgrounds while we're live and see what we come up with. I mean, this was one color. We've got all that whole rainbow of Chroma mist to play with. We got to try them all out, right? So we'll put this little guy on our card panel. And don't look too close to see if it's centered, because that is just gonna have to work. Okay, so then one thing that's kind of fun that I thought would be fun on this card is when I do something fancy on the background, I don't like it when I cover up the whole cool background. You know, you get this really fun effect. You don't want to cover all the fun stuff up. So usually when I do something like that, I will use a vellum sentiment because I don't want to cover up all of that. So I am going to show you one kind of fun thing. It looks like I got a little goober on that, but I think this will cover it up.
And you just said aqua pigment and glaze.
Aqua pigment and glaze would work great on this paper. So I just used the heat resistant vellum, and what I did, I should just tell you from the beginning. Hang on one sec. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. So let me find my Coverall. Have you guys used these? The Coverall adhesive. It is really cool. I really like it. You know, vellum is kind of a little bit tricky. You want to, I wanted something substantial behind it that I could kind of cut with. So I went ahead, I put it on my, I put it on the Coverall. It's a double-sided adhesive that comes in these sheets. And I just have one little strip that I had used something from. Let me see if I've still got the scrap here. Here it is. See, I had this much left of strip, and I thought, well, I don't want to waste that. I might as well use that. So I just used that with my heat-resistant vellum, and then I used my circle foundation dies to cut, because I knew I just wanted like a half circle. So I went ahead and I took the one side off, put the vellum on it, and then I die cut it. So that part was already done. I didn't have to try to line it up after, because it was already taken care of. See, so when I peel this one off, I'll already have it ready to go. So we're not going to use the whole circle. We're just going to we're going to put this about right here, I think. You can see I have some embossing powder down there, but it's not going to matter because we are going to use this ribbon. This came in the inspiration box last month. That darling dinosaur inspiration box. Did you guys get in on that? I think we're going to use this. This is just a cheap as heck heat tool for your hair that I grabbed from some cheap store. And I just wanted to use it strictly for crafting, to just, you know how the ribbons kind of have these little kinks in them? It just takes the kinks out for me a little bit. I'm going to spray it a little bit just to make it a little bit easier. Sometimes I'll put them through the my laminator too. I don't know if it's hot enough. It's not amazing. I would never want to use it on my hair, I'll tell you that right now. But for ribbon, it's perfect. And it's little, so it fits on my table without too much trouble. And I just don't want to spend the entire life trying to get the kinks out. But it's, I mean, look at the difference. It's already way better than it was. So, all right. I'm going to turn that off so that I don't cause a fire. Okay. So now we can just go ahead and get a really pretty bow around this. So I just want to cover up that bottom of that. Maybe I'll move it over just a slight bit. Somebody asked me about tying bows, and I will tell you, the best way I was taught was to make your ears and then loop through. And sometimes you kind of have to mess with it and move things around a little bit and then pull tight. But that is how I make my bows. And that was something helpful taught to me. I also want to just say, this might just be me, but don't cover up your sentiment with your bow too much. You don't want anybody, you don't want to not be able to see what your card says, right? Okay, so now we'll just trim that off a little bit. And we're going to add one more little element to this because we don't want it to just be a stormy kind of card. We want to add a little cheer to that, right? We're trying to cheer our friend up. So I think we should use our cute, cute umbrella. I don't think I grabbed a piece of paper. I will grab one quickly. Just going to move my cloud for a minute. Just got a little piece of perfect blend paper right here that would work. Just cut that in half. I'm wondering too, though, if you, I think you could probably stamp on your fiber paper too. We can try that if you want. But for this, I think we'll just use the okay, so now I'm using Raven ink to ink up my umbrella. Everybody's being so quiet. And then I think I'll ink it one more time for good measure. So we have a nice crisp image. And then I kind of want to do a quick color job on this, so I think we'll try something. Bear with me because I haven't tried it before. But let's just see what happens if we want to just use some of our Chroma mist. Actually, I think what we'll do, just another way you can use it, sorry. What did I end up doing with that other panel? Oh, there it is. Okay. Just making sure it's not like getting anything messy. I think I'm just going to squirt a little bit on here.
Robin says she's just soaking up the inspiration.
Oh, Robin. Well, I'm glad you're still with me. I just want to make sure I haven't put you to sleep. Okay, so now the trick is I have like 1,000 of these different water brushes on my table, but finding one that has water in it is sometimes a challenge. Okay, this one's ready to go. So we're just going to do a very quick and loose watercolor with these. And watercoloring, I have much to learn about. But you know what? I'm liking how this moves. The color moves really well. So you can see I got it to move pretty good from this end to this end. So yet another way you can use your Chroma mist. Let's go back in a little bit and kind of go through the little bit of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Shadows, I guess. Give it a little bit more contour, a little bit more detail. Depth, that was the word I was looking for. Depth. Okay.
Anita said I leave half used water bottle in craft room for watercolors.
That is very smart.
And Joel said I'm crafting with you.
Oh, I love that, Anita.
And Sue said nice ombre effect.
Yeah, I like the way that that turned out too, Sue. I like that it's kind of fading out into the into each other. Hopefully I didn't just kill that. No, I think it's still okay. See if we can add just a little bit more. Okay, and we'll do the handle. I think the handle needs to be red too. And I barely even used that, so kind of wasted that a little bit, but yeah, you don't need to go crazy with your color. All right, so now we are gonna just do a quick, trying to think if I want to color the handle or not, but I don't think I do. I think if I do, let me see what I got handy. So I usually have everything pulled because I get a little nervous if I have to do anything too on the fly, but you know what? Trying to embrace that a little bit, let go a little bit. So I'm just going to use this gray marker I have handy. And then I think I kind of missed a spot. I think that should be red too. So I don't want to spray anymore. So I'm just going to open my bottle and just kind of take a little bit from the nozzle. And that'll be enough to just get enough to do right there.
Shush.
Okay. So now we'll just quickly cut that out. So now I'm just going to leave a little bit of a border around that. It might be time to do another bingo number. This is the last number. I just have the 2, but the last one, if you didn't catch it, was B10. And this number, are you ready? Is N as in Nancy 34. N 34. The paper is still just a little damp, but okay, thanks for being patient with me while I did my little fussy cut there. All right, so now we can add our little umbrella. Kind of have to decide where we want to have it going. Do we want to have it going that way? Yeah, I don't like it that way so much. We can move our ribbon over a little if we need to. I think that might work. Okay, so I'm just going to take a little bit of, I might let that dry a little bit. Let me just let that dry a little bit longer before I attach that, because it's still pretty wet on the back. But I'll attach that in just a second. In the meantime, I think we have just enough time. I think we should play with a different set. So this one's completely off the cuff. I haven't tried it out. I just thought it might be kind of fun. I did think this would be cute to do with the rainbows from the Groovy Friends set. But I'm not actually going to take the time to stamp that all and emboss it. But think of this with the rainbows in all of the colors. Would that not be the cutest? I love that. So I do think I'll use a smaller stamp. This is also from the Groovy Friends set. Let me just show you the Groovy Friends set in case you're not familiar with it. This is another one that's one of those ones that's been around a little while, but it's one of my favorite sets. I don't know why. It just cracks me up. I love the little hippies. I think they're hilarious. And I actually made a card. I think it's the card that's on the website. If you look up this set, I use this little guy, and it doesn't even really look like my brother, but my brother is a musician, and it just made me think of him. So when I look at it, it makes me happy because it makes me think of my brother. So anyway, we're going to use this little dream catcher, and then we're going to try something else I haven't tried out yet. So bear with me and come along with me on this ride. It may turn out horribly wrong, or we may end up with a cool technique, but let's try it out. I'm just going to do the same thing as far as embossing it goes, but I want to try something along the edges with this fiber paper. We'll do that for now. I think that'll work. One of my worst things I always forget to do. I got to put my powder on there. Forgive the cloud of dust going on. Okay, so now we'll put this one on there.
Jen said, I'm so glad you're doing this. I have that and haven't used it once yet.
This set, the Groovy Friends set, Jen?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this, like I said, this is one of my favorites. It came in a box last year. It was a whole fun groovy box.
Anita says I need that set.
Oh, you do. This is a fun set. Check it out. All right, now where did I put my embossing ink? Okay. If you saw my table, I've been working on several projects at the same time, and it's a little bit more chaotic than actual normal, which I tend to have it be pretty chaotic anyway, but one of these days, maybe I'll tame it a little bit more.
Just looks like the usual craft NATO flew through there.
Craftnado, huh?
Yep.
Sorry, I'm kind of off camera. Okay, so we'll make sure we get a couple of good runs on this. I just have to point out again, I'm such a sucker for these little galoshes. I think this would be such a cute card just to do a whole bunch of different colors of these on a card. I'm sure I'm going to make one. When, I'm not sure yet, but I have got to, because it's calling my name. I'm going to enjoy the rest of spring. Here in Arizona, it already is starting to feel like summer. School is out in like, what, a week? Yeah. And the temperatures are already getting high here. It's in the 90s here today. So I'm just going to hold on to those last few seconds of spring as long as I can. And that's why I just had to use the set. I just love it. Okay, so now we've got our stamp on there. Move that out of the way. I'll get all these where I can get them all cleaned and ready to go after. And got our little tray. Got our big old tub of Alabaster embossing powder.
Anita says, I'm loving the fiber weather.
Fiber weather. So much fun. Okay, so this time I'm going to just kind of brush it a little bit more. I don't want to tap it too much. Well, it came out okay there. We're okay. I can tap it a little bit. Oh, that's not the other one. The other one looks good though. This is how the other one is looking right now. And it's almost dry. So much fun. I kind of like how this one has a little bit more light pattern in there too. Okay.
Jackie says it's been rainy and cold in Pittsburgh and ready for warm.
Oh, come on over. come to Phoenix. You'll be over it really fast. No, it's really nice here. I really like it. We lived in Montana for one winter before we moved here. And I always figured that it was a good thing we did that so that I didn't complain too much about the heat because, whoa, the winters in Montana are so cold. At least the one that we lived there. And when we moved here, it was November. It was actually Thanksgiving weekend. And it was so much fun. I just remember it felt like a vacation for the first 2 weeks. We didn't even have all of our stuff. It took like a week for the moving truck to bring all of our stuff. So it just felt like we were camping out on a vacation for 2 weeks. It was a lot of fun.
Palm trees everywhere.
I know, palm trees and warm weather. Fond memories. I really want to make a trip to Philadelphia one of these days, though. I think that would be a lot of fun. Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. Okay, let me see if I can. I don't have as much room to hold on to, so I might. Just don't want to get burned. I really do. I think this set is fun. There's, let me bring it out while I'm doing this.
Jackie says, love that dream catcher.
Isn't it neat? This has a ton of really cool gems in it, just kind of hidden in it. I love the little chucks at the bottom. That would be another cute one just to do a whole bunch of chucks. I love the guitar. I think that guitar is just so cute. Fun set. If you don't own it, you should get it for your collection. Okay, I think we are just about there. So now I think we need to try out some of these colors. You've seen blue, you need to see all the other colors. And you've seen the red. Let's grab the ugly bucket. See what we can come up with here. I'm gonna move our card for a minute. That should give us just enough time to get that all dried out.
Penny said I used this set for my ATC that I traded last year at the Great Joint Ending.
Oh, isn't it a fun one, Penny? What a great one for ATCs. I love it for that. I made a set of, I only made like a set of 3, but I did make a set of ATCs with this too. It's a fun one. There's just, like I said, it's got a whole bunch of little gems in it. Okay, we'll start with lilac purple. Actually, let's start with bumblebee yellow. Let's start with our lightest first. And I have really not got any rhyme or reason too much about how I'm doing this. Just kind of playing, having fun with it. Let's do some of the tangerine orange.
Jackie says ATCs are underutilized.
I love ATCs. I really do. I went through a thing there for a little bit where I made a ton of them. I definitely love doing them. Okay, we've got all of our fire colors. Do we want to add some cool colors in there? You've seen the blue. You haven't seen the green or the purple. So maybe we'll add a little bit of that in there. Here's some purple. I'm not sure how all these are going to run together. That might be, could be a good idea or a bad idea. I don't know if we want to actually get this wet because I don't know if we want them to run together. I kind of like how it's, what's the word I'm looking for? I like having all of those different colors on there. I think we'll maybe put a little bit more red because that's kind of in between. We'll kind of make that more the dominant color. And I'm going to spray from really far away so it doesn't go crazy spreading, but that it does blend them a little bit.
Penny says speckled.
Yeah, it's got a fun speckled look to it, Penny. Okay, let's see what happens. Because right now I think the color might be sitting up on top of the embossing powder a little bit. So I'm just going to use a paper towel to blot it once to see if it kind of takes it off of the... Oh, look how much color came out of that. So that's, again, like I said, if you have one underneath, not a bad idea. I actually kind of like that on this. I like that it kind of made it look more... it's less rainbowy and more southwesty right now because all of those colors got toned down so much. But look at that. I love how that turned out. That's so pretty. But yes, if you want to play with it so that you've got one underneath and you've got one on top, we could still play with this a little bit more. I'm liking that a lot. I think I'll put just a little bit more red and a little bit more orange. I don't want to go too crazy because I'm liking the vibe.
Penny said mixed media. Heather C will take your paper towel.
Okay, let's see how this goes.
Robin says I was thinking it looks organic.
It's just fun, huh? Let's see.
It looks groovy.
It looks groovy. Groovy and organic. Okay, see, so I like a little bit more color. I kind of wanted a little bit more. Didn't want to take quite as much off, but I still like that it's not what I actually had started with the intent to do, but sometimes, isn't that the fun thing about crafting? Sometimes you start out with one idea and you end up with something completely different, but that you like even better. So I want to dry that a little bit because I want to try something. And I have no idea if this is going to be a good thing or a bad thing, so bear with me for a second. And if it's a total flop, then just know it was fun to experiment with you. I like that. It kind of has like, I like that it looks kind of like stone in the back.
Jackie says it looks like granite.
Yeah, it looks like stone, doesn't it, Jackie? Okay. But what I was thinking is it might be kind of fun. Again, this is total, I'm like nervous to do it. I don't know why. You guys.
It's only paper.
It's only paper. It's true. I need to heed my own words, huh? I thought it'd be kind of fun. I don't like these scissors for what I'm going to do though. To just kind of cut a little bit of like a fringe. And I may regret this, but I kind of want to just rough it up a little. And anytime you do that, it's either going to turn out usually really good or really not. So we're just going to kind of rough up the edges a little bit. It's still kind of wet, so bear with me as my fingers get completely inky. I don't know if you can even really tell. There we go, it's kind of doing that more.
Maybe hold it close to the camera.
I honestly don't know that it's doing anything much. I mean, it's not really hurting anything. They might have to be longer slits to do anything about it. Oh, I think, yeah, that could maybe I've got them just too. I think it would be better with bigger notches in between them. I might have cut my fringe a little too fine, if that makes sense. But I'm gonna kind of let it dry and play with it again in a minute and see what I think. But you definitely would have to rough it up to even be able to see it.
Sue says, believe it or not, I have a pair of fringe scissors in my stash.
Ooh, you have fancy fringe scissors. Oh, see, now when you mess it up with a little bit more, I can see it kind of coming along. I just don't know that we have time to dedicate enough to it right now, but I think I'm going to play with this. I'm going to make this into a card, and you can see it when I post the video. I will, oh, that's what you got to be careful of. But I think that's okay still. I'm not like heartbroken, devastated or anything. I think we can at least camouflage it, if nothing else. Make sure if you decide to do this that you don't cut your last piece too thin.
Tina says hi.
Hi Tina, thanks for joining us. But I kind of like the fringe. I don't know, I might have to mess with that some more. I think that you could do something fun. This would be cute to just put it on a little, fold over a little bit. Maybe on a little bit bigger panel. But for now, we're going to let that one go and we're going to finish up our other card. Okay, so we've got our little panel we're going to play with later. See what we can make of that. I like it though. I think it's kind of fun. And then we've got this one. We're just going to go back through and finish. Now that it's dry enough, I think we can go ahead and add a little foam dot to it.
I'm late.
Hi Kay, how are you? Okay, so let's... For those of you who are tuning in late, I'm just going to tell you if there is a new promotion going on this month for Brutus Monroe. It is bingo. It's going to be a lot of fun. And as you're watching lives and such, you can get numbers for your bingo card. You get bingo cards. There's going to be one that you can download, as well as every time you spend $10, you can earn another card. There'll be details up on the site. But from this live right now, there are 2 numbers that you can use on your card. So make a note of these. They are B10 and N34. Okay, so now I think we will just get this all tacked on there, and I feel like it might need a few more little details, but we'll go there in just a second.
Sue said with mulberry papers, I used to wet the edges and then rip it.
You know what, Sue? I used to do the same thing with mulberry paper too, and this doesn't react the same way because it has, there's just more body to it. It just has more firmness to it. And that was partly probably why I wanted to try it out, was to kind of just see how it behaves. And it's a little different. It doesn't really, which is why it works so great when it's used like more like an interface fabric would be. You know, it kind of keeps things from fraying. So that makes sense logically. I just had to get there. But I still think you could play with that and rough that up and have that be cute.
Tina says the dream catcher would make an amazing altered jumbo paperclip or small wall hanging.
That could be really fun. Good suggestions, Tina. I'm thinking of actually cutting it down a little bit, possibly, and seeing if it fits on an ATC. I have to see. It might be too long for an ATC. I need one more piece of our Easy Tear tape. Okay. And I am using, these card panels are pre-cut card panels. And I am so spoiled now, I don't know if I'll ever go back to anything else. I love them so much. It's just so convenient to have one all ready to go. You know, it's all cut right and it's just perfect. It's so handy. I think we need some sequins or something. What do you guys think? Oh, I know exactly what to use. One of my favorite things to use are the little acrylic drops. Darren, I know I didn't warn you, but it wouldn't be alive without me if I didn't give you something at the last second, right? So these are so fun because they look like raindrops. And they are the perfect little accent. So we're going to add these. I'm just going to use glue. It's handy.
Acrylic bubbles.
Yep. You are so good, Darren. Thank you so much. We'll just let those dry. And I think I might go back in after the live and just add a little bit more color and definition. I am not a master watercolorist by any means. But I feel like I just want to add a little bit more to this umbrella. Who does?
Anita.
Anita, thanks so much for joining. I think we've pretty much got it anyway. Don't forget to use your bingo numbers. And thank you so much for joining me today. Have a good one. Let me go ahead and flip over the camera. Thank you so much. I had so much fun. This is such an easy, fun, quick card, and you can make so many fun backgrounds with this. I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. And when you do make creations, go ahead and put them up on the Brutus Monroe fan page on Facebook, because it's so much fun to share each other's creations. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again next week at the same time. Bye!